Hi, it's Nobody Lusty bringing you Sirocco Guide Part 2. If you haven't seen Part 1, click here. Okay, let's get on with the guide. The first part of Phase 2, there are 4 rooms called Subconsciousness. All 4 must be cleared to move on to the next part. In this map, you must move around to find the boss. The fight is pretty simple. Most parties should be able to burst it down. If not, one can easily just dodge its gimmicks. It can be pretty annoying because it can teleport from one side to the other. Before you burst, wait a little because it will go invulnerable for a short time. When it does the line gimmicks, wait for it to land back in the middle before going all in. The second part, red and orange should go into consciousness, yellow and green should do subconsciousness. In consciousness, we fight a fake Sirocco. I recommend saving your awakenings and bullet time for when the boss goes into grog. The fight is simple, just dodge and spank her. There's only one part which can be a problem. For this part, your party members should line up together and take turns observing the dark clouds. Once you observe about halfway, you should move down and let another party member observe the clouds. Until the gimmick is over, do not use the bullet time here. Make sure you don't let the gauge fill up to max. If the gauge is maxed, you will take damage over time, and when the gimmick is over, you will take massive damage. If this happens, I would recommend the buffer to use area of effect healing to try heal through the damage. Shiroko the intangible will go into grog when party yellow or green clear old hag in the dream. When this happens, the party leader should use bullet time, Satyr should use first awakening. If the leader does not use bullet time for grog, it will be very short. Let's go to old hag in the dream. This boss is very simple, just burst her down. The main gimmick you need to be careful of is the green tornado and fires. Those deal high damage and sucks players into middle. I would recommend people to avoid standing in the middle because of this gimmick. There are also small green tornadoes that follows players. Those are annoying. When she targets a player with lasers, you need to get the laser to the puddle of purple water to put her into grog. Final part of Sirocco. Here you see 4 different types of encounters. True Sirocco and her 3 forms: Denial, Cane, Loxy. To begin, one party enters Sirocco, so other parties can enter each respective encounter. Once the party that entered True Consciousness has encountered Sirocco, all 3 other rooms should be unlocked. Let's first talk about Denial. This is the easiest encounter, but also one of the most important, because if it's left alone and the timer runs out, the whole phase 2 will be reset and back to the start. The boss, Shirokko's nightmare, is just burst. Its gimmicks are very easy. After the party clears Denial, they should stay on guard just in case, because they might actually have to go into Denial again. Next important dungeon is Suppression. I would normally get the strongest party that is not in True Consciousness to do this. In this dungeon, we need to find Kane and take him out. He will spawn randomly on the outer layers of the dungeon, so no need to go into the middle. If your party is strong, you can usually burst him down. If not, he isn't too difficult, but he can actually deal a lot of damage. But the main gimmick you need to do is when he splits into clones, and you have to actually find the real one. He will do 3 times, each time having one more clone than the last one. The real one can be identified in 2 ways. First, you can use bullet time to see which of the clones has a white smoke around it. That one is the real one. Remember to immediately turn off bullet time once you find the real one to save it. Second method, If you don't have any bullet time left, you can attack each clone. The real one has 1200 HP, while the fake one only has 600. Once you clear this gimmick, he will go into Grog. You need to clear him until you get a resonance. It is completely RNG whether you get it first go or not. Usually you will get it after the second clear. Remember, every time you clear Kane, the true Sirocco map will rotate and the encounter will change. When resonance happens, both parties that are not in Loxy should enter true consciousness. Next is Oblivion. This dungeon is very important for the party to pay attention. It is very similar to the observatory from Prey Raid. This encounter isn't too hard. It can be bursted if your party is strong. There are a lot of dodging gimmicks. The first gimmick, she will create an orb above her. You will have to avoid the red circles. If you get hit a few times, you will be pulled into the orb, and when it explodes, it will deal high damage. The next gimmick, and probably the most important one to know. Loxy will push everyone back, and all but one party member will have their HP dropped down to 15%. It's best to just not attack and focus on the gimmick. If a party member uses a cube skill, it will reset everyone's cooldown. Yellow orbs will start coming out of the party members with full HP, and the other 3 party members will have to take all the orbs before it goes to Loxy, and then she goes into Grog. If you fail, she will recover HP and cause an explosion that will deal massive damage to everyone. Once you have pushed her to around 72 HP, she will move to the middle and create magic circles horizontal to her. Once this happens, you need to make sure resonance is done and the other party members are in true consciousness. Ask them if they are ready. If they are, you need to take an orb from each of the circles and give it to Loxy. This will put Sirocco into Grog phase. Shiroko has 3 different forms: Rebeche, Gilly, Reste. Let us begin with Rebeche, aka Queen form. She is the easiest in terms of gimmicks. The first gimmick, she will go to the middle and create 2 portals. Pay attention to the illusions going into the portal and go into the portal that the purple one does not go into. The next gimmick, she plays with her dress, shooting purple winds out. These can be avoided by jumping over them. When you see purple portal spawn, you immediately need to get into one. You can use bullet time to give you and your party members more time to reach it. You will teleport under her skirt. The crystal gimmick is very simple. You and your party members need to hit the crystals and make it fly into Sirocco to break those small crystals around her. For larger portals, you can have one member stand in it and another to hit it to Sirocco to deal extra points for the gimmick. If you fail, she will deal massive damage to everyone in the party. The next godlike gimmick, she will create 2 shields on each side of the screen and lots of circles that will explode. Only 2 people can enter, so be careful. Afterwards, she will fly to one of the shields and trap the players in there. In this part, a player needs to avoid her. Step on the magic circle, get a yellow halo around you, and jump into the black mind control orb 3 times to break it to free your friends. When she does the "how dare you look at me" gimmick, you need to pay attention to the ground. If you see small circular ripples, you need to face away from Sirocco and quick rebound. If you see cracks, you need to face her and quick rebound. Let's move on to the next Sirocco form, Gilly. She has 3 sub-forms. She will start off as the snake. She will spawn a bunch of tentacles and little goats that are easy to dodge. When she teleports to either side of the room, you will need to move behind her to avoid this gimmick. Bats will target one member and that member should move away from everyone else. Spider form. When she changes to spider, she will usually jump and slam the center. To dodge that, you need to move to the other corner. Be careful, her attacks hurt. She will create a ball of red web above her and attack randomly. Dodge these. If someone gets caught, a party member will need to jump at it to release them. The spider razor gimmick will target 3 random party members. A circular rotation of lasers will expand from them. You can use bullet time to slow down the laser to allow people to pass through it safely. The octopus boss, when she slams her tentacles, it will create a wave. To avoid this, you need to move near the boss. If you are far away, you will take more damage. Next, she will trap 2 party members and tentacles will spawn around the boss. Party members not trapped can attack the orbs to push them away from damage. The last gimmick is the dreaded soul swap. Warning, your own party members can kill you. To start, each member must stand on an individual circle. Then your soul will be released. You must take over another member's body. You cannot enter a body that has a soul in it, or your own. If you have red cage around you, all you need to do is attack it. Next, the boss will try to attack with her head. Just move away from her. Then each member needs to move back to their own circle. Next, the boss will do either of 2 things. The boss will start shooting a laser beam and fan around the map. You can jump to avoid the laser, but you can move to the top corners of the map to avoid it. Shiroko will put her head at the center of the map. You will need to use bullet time and attack the head in one direction, to push her away until there is a safe space to stand at the top corner. Afterwards, each member will need to move back to an individual circle to finish the gimmick. The hardest form, Reste. In this form, you will need to dodge a lot. When he says, "You better move quickly," each member will target it by lasers from the sky, and it will leave a ball mine that has a vacuum effect. It will explode at the end of the gimmick. You will need to run around and try not to get in the way of your party members. Bullet time can be used at the end to help members find openings to avoid the explosions. This is risky as you will need it at another gimmick. Here he will say, "I control everything here." Sword will fall from the sky. Just before the sword lands, you should jump and land in the shadow of the sword to avoid damage. You will have to do this 3 times, then immediately move to the prince's shadow to avoid the last hit. When he says, "Come hit me with your best shot," you will need to bullet time. You must attack the swords to change its color to be all purple or red. If you don't use bullet, it won't be enough time. For my raids, we generally go for all purple. If you fail, there is a high chance of you get wiped. He will create a pentagram. For this, you will need to counter-attack him and avoid getting hit by his attacks. You need to collect the green orbs and place it at 5 corners. Once you clear this, he will go into a very short grog. If you get hit by his attacks 5 times, you will fail the gimmick. He will suck everyone in the center and cause an explosion. You will need to bullet and immediately run out. When resonance happens and the other two parties are inside true consciousness and everyone's ready, the party doing Oblivion will need to trigger Loxy. It's time to go all out and try to deal as much damage as possible to the flower. If you did not finish Shiroko, the party that went into Loxy will need to go into Sirocco and survive while the other members repeat the previous steps because you will be encroached. This will repeat until Shiroko is beaten. Good luck. Check out my stream every reset on Friday and Saturday at twitch.tv novadalust08. Thank you. Please, gotta be me, man. 27
yes.
straight.
Holy crap.
No, still no.
Hey.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
This one's scam.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
What?
Oh.
No.